welcome back to the channel. Thank you all so much for tuning in as always. And today we're going to be doing another segment of, you guessed it, Lily opens up yet again another Nespresso package that me and you are going to try. I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like I've been doing back-to-back Nespresso orders for the past bajillion years of my life because it's the holiday season. And Nespresso, I guess, decided to drop and release every new pod in their mother during the holiday season, which means I need to try them. Like, come on, capitalism at its finest. So I say we open this up, get into the bad boy, and see how at least some of them taste today. I bought quite a few sleeves. I know the box is kind of deceiving. It is a little small, but I did buy quite a few sleeves. We might do a two-part video. We'll see. Okay, she is full mama, which means that we have a lot to get through. So as you can kind of see, I got the Vertuo line pods and the original line pods, both that they released in the holiday limited edition line. And I think I'm going to try the Vertuo pods today. I am really excited for them. They seem all like really good flavors, but I'm going to be honest, I think the Lungo, it has been released, like the majority of the holiday ones in the original line are Lungos, and you guys already know I feel about that. So I am going to save those for another day when I am not in as much of a desperate need for coffee right now. But I'm still going to introduce the original lines here, and we'll do more of like a in-depth talk about them in the following video. But in the original line, I got the Festive Black Espresso, so this one seems promising. And generally, it seems like, do they have any notes on here? It's supposed to be a blend of Arabicas from Honduras and Uganda. It's supposed to be very roasted and woody, as well as kind of a spicy pod. It says enjoy it black or as a creamy latte macchiato. So maybe we'll have to do that next time. And I'm really excited for it. It's supposed to be an intensity 7 out of 13. So very medium roast. And again, those woody notes. So very promising. And then we have the original line of Seasonal Delight Spices, which is, sounds kind of like the other one, but let's see. So they recommend this as, oh, you can have it as an espresso, lungo, or cappuccino. That's very interesting. So I know on the website it said lungo, so I'll have to look more into that for the next video on what they actually prefer. It's kind of hard to read this box because of the color. But it says that overall it's supposed to be kind of a spicy espresso or lungo cup of coffee. It's made from South American Arabicas, which kind of up my alley, so okay, Nespresso. And then you can make it as, like I said, a cappuccino for kind of a spice cake notes. And they do recommend it with some milk, so that's also very promising because, as you guys know, I love to mix my coffee with milk, so that's not going to be a problem for me. And then the last one we have is the Frosted Caramel Nut in the original line. They recommend this as, let's see, a lungo or a cappuccino. So this one strictly, I guess, is supposed to be a lungo. It's supposed to be South American blend of coffee, again, kind of up my alley, with malty cereal notes from Brazil and Colombia, has a warming caramel flavor, kind of tastes like an almond vanilla biscuit. And they said to try it with milk in a cappuccino form. So that's going to be very promising as well. So I will admit, you know, I take back what I said about maybe not feeling excited about the original line. I think this is going to be good for our next video as well. But let's get into the Vertuo line, and these are actually what we're going to be trying today. Okay, so the first one I'm going to be pulling out of the box here is the Festive Black or the Noir Festive, which I am really excited about because you guys know I'm an espresso gal, and this is a double espresso pod. It is an intensity 7 out of 11, and like the original line, it's supposed to be very woody. It says it's still the same blend of Arabicas from Honduras and Uganda. It's supposed to be a very warm, sweet, and spicy cup, and it's supposed to have notes of jammy fruit, as well as dark chocolate and candied fruit. They said to try it either black or as a reverso. I know we discussed that. I guess like you put the milk in there and then you kind of like put the coffee right on top of the hot milk, which I think I've still yet to try that, but maybe we can try it today. And then, yeah, it's supposed to be kind of like a festive pod. So very interesting, very, very promising. I'm excited to try this. And then the next one we have is the Seasonal Delight Spices in the Vertuo line. This one is actually supposed to be an 8-ounce cup rather than the espresso or the lungo like they were talking about in the other one, or in the original line. This is again supposed to be Latin American and African blend of Arabicas. It's supposed to be kind of a festive citrus taste with a mix of spices, and generally very heartwarming, I guess is what it's saying. And they say to add a dash of cold milk and taste the spiced coffee cake that emerges with the pod. That's very, very interesting. So they said a dash of cold milk. Okay, oh, maybe I'll try it like that. Usually I like to, you know, kind of like warm up my milk, but they are saying it's supposed to be just a dash, which of course is way less milk than I usually like to add to my coffee, so that'll be interesting. And then the last pod we have is again the frosted caramel nut in the Vertuo line. This is again supposed to be an 8-ounce pod rather than just a lungo. And then it looks like, again, very, very similar taste profile where it's like multi-cereal, almond vanilla biscuit notes. Again, this also says put a dash of cold milk to kind of experience that best type of flavor for the Latin American and African Arabicas. It's supposed to have some caramel notes as well, multi-cereal, almondy biscuit. I think I said that already. But yes, very, very excited to try this. So which one should we try first? I think I'm going to try the frosted caramel nut because I think this is going to be unlike anything I've tried before, and I'm really excited for it. So let's give it a taste. Before I get into the coffee, I did want to show you guys the pod. It is a very cute pod, white, nice little gold ridges, has a nice texture to the pod. Just says frosted caramel nut on the back. And very, very white Christmas, very festive looking. I really like the pod design that they came up with for this. And as for the smell of this pod, it smells like Christmas holiday cake. It smells absolutely wonderful. I was like doing a little bit of cleaning while it was brewing, and oh my goodness, it smelled so good. Oh my gosh. So I'm really excited to taste it. Let's give it a try. So I get a little bit of spice in the actual coffee, but I'm not really picking up a lot of the almondy or like biscuity notes. I do get what they say by malty, but I'm not really getting that with this. I'm like, let me see. Because, okay, they said to try it with a dash of cold milk. But you know what? I think maybe I'd like it better like that. But just off of this, I'm not super impressed. I really like the smell, but I don't think the taste is entirely there. I will say that it's very roasty tasting, and it's also very bold. So if you're looking for something that'll hold up in an iced coffee, I do think this is a good holiday pod for that. I don't really know what a dash of cold milk is, like I said. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of it in here. I think that's enough. Let me stir it around. I do like it. I'm not like not super impressed with this pod. I do get, again, a lot of that malty taste now that I put the milk in there, but I'm still not getting like, you know, that almondy biscuit vanilla note that they were talking about. It seems like from the description of the pod that there was a whole lot going on here in to begin with, and I don't know if it just all got canceled out in the process or what. But it is good. Do I think that you absolutely need to rush to buy this one? No. Unfortunately, I did have high hopes for this, and I don't think it's that great at the end of the day. I'm going to rate this kind of a 6.5 out of 10. It's not bad. It's not great. Definitely could do without it. Probably will not buy this sleeve again before the holiday ends, but I do think it's relatively okay. Before we get into the coffee, I did want to show you the pod. So we do have a nice red with some gold ridges and the description, which again, very, very holiday. I am really liking the design of all of these pods. I think they do pretty well every year with the design of the holiday pods, so I'm not disappointed in that. As for the smell, it smells like a weird, like fruity spice cake or like a weird holiday fruit cake. It smells really yummy. And again, so far, all these pods are making me want a dessert with this coffee. I feel like having some, you know, nice, like holiday, like themed, you know, pastry in the morning, like, you know, I don't know, like a holiday banana bread or I don't even know, but something like a nice pastry in the morning with this coffee would be absolutely scrumptious. But yeah, let's give it a taste. Wow, I can actually really taste the spices in this pod. That's actually really surprising, and I actually really like it. I'm very impressed with it. Wow. And it's not too bold, it's not too light. Again, I think that so far both of these could stand up really well to a nice coffee. And yeah, I really like it. I say we get some milk in this, but I think it's a little bit more promising than the other one I just tried. Maybe that's my opinion, but I do really like it, and I can really taste the spices along with the pod. I don't think it's like the same as gingerbread, but I don't know how to describe it. Please let me know what you guys think in the comments, because it's kind of fruity, but it's also, again, really spicy. So I wouldn't call it exactly a gingerbread taste. It is very different than the gingerbread pod I tried. So let's get some milk in it. Maybe that'll help me narrow down a little bit the flavors that I'm tasting here. This is like such a nice warm cup, you know what I mean? It's like the spices are still a little bit there. I will say the milk has kind of leveled them down a little bit, but there's still a whole lot of spice, a lot of jammy notes in there, and it's just such a nice like holiday fruit cup of coffee. I don't think the fruitiness is as strong as the last set of like fruit holiday pods, like with the raspberry type of pod. Definitely not as much as that, but it's just a nice balance of fruity and spicy. And so with that being said, I do think this is a solid 8 out of 10 for a pod. Do I think this pod is going to appeal to the masses for everybody that wants a nice holiday cup? No. But I think that if you're one that likes gingerbread, if you're one that kind of likes a fruity cup, then you will really like this pod. And I say you go out and give it a try. Okay, y'all, we've made it to the festive black pod for all of my espresso lovers. And much like last year's pod, it is kind of like that navy blue black color with some nice gold ridges and tinting. And then, of course, the label on the back. I say we give it a taste and a sniff. This smells very dark and very woody, almost like the Skuro pod in the Vertuo line. So I guess let's give it a taste. I'm a little scared now. Well, let's give it a taste. Yeah, this is very dark, a little bit acidic, and definitely a little spicy as well. I don't think it's exactly like the Skuro pod, but I do think it is quite spicy and quite dark. Darker than I thought it was going to be, considering they say it's an intensity of 7. So that's really surprising to me, not gonna lie. I will say, what's kind of nice about this pod that I don't get a lot and often in many Nespresso pods is that you think because of the kind of the kick it has in the beginning with the acidity and the spices, it's going to be very hard going down or swallowing, and it's actually really like nice and light towards the end. So I do think that's a nice balance for a medium roasted pod. Take that as you will, but I say we try this as a reverso and see how I like it. Okay, much like Nespresso recommended it, either black or as a reverso, so I did froth some milk in my Bodum frother and put the espresso shot right on top of it. So very nice looking drink. Let's give it a taste. Yeah, I really like this. Now, I'll preface this by saying that I am a latte gal, and so having a little bit more milk than usual in my coffee is my preference, much like this. And so, to me, I think this recipe is really good. I would definitely have it like this if I could have maybe a couple pumps of my favorite syrup. Now, maybe like a salted caramel syrup I think would go really well with this. But, you know, I'll say I think that this pod is a strong 7 out of 10, much like a 7 intensity. I think that it's good. I can definitely taste the spices through the milk. It's definitely not as bold and as dark or as acidic with the milk in it, which is nice, definitely easier to drink that way. But also the complexity is not really there anymore when they do it, when I make it as recommended. And so with that being said, I do think my favorite of these three is the Seasonal Delight Spices, or whatever it is, the red pod here. So I'm actually really surprised because I thought I would like this the least out of all of them, and Nespresso consistently surprises me, okay? Consistently surprises me. So do I think that you need to go out and get this pod specifically? I think if you're a double espresso person, they really don't release that many double espressos during the holiday season. You might as well pick yourself up a sleeve if you're a latte and double espresso person. I would recommend it. I don't think it's too, like, I guess, pigeonholing yourself to a holiday drink when you're making this. Like, for example, with things like peppermint pinwheel, or even with the Seasonal Delight Spices, the red pod that I just showed, I feel like you kind of have to make a holiday themed drink with those, whereas maybe the caramel frosted nut and this one, you can kind of make any sort of latte or coffee that you want. And it would pair very nice with any syrup that you have in your collection for the most part, especially all the basics like vanilla, like caramel, etc. And honestly, I think that the Seasonal Spice Delight type of thing is also really good with your basics like caramel, like vanilla. Brown sugar is going to go really well with that, maple, stuff like that. I do think that is going to taste more holiday-y with those two pods, the Seasonal Spice Delight, peppermint pinwheel, the gingerbread pod, etc. But with these ones that are a little bit more faint in that holiday flavor, I don't think you can go wrong with buying them and just pairing them with whatever base you want. So it really depends on the mood that you're in. If you're in a more holiday mood, definitely go for the Seasonal Spice Delight, peppermint pinwheel, gingerbread. If you're okay with being flexible and not really having, you know, the holiday cheer in your cup of coffee every single day, don't be afraid to buy this one, or the caramel frosted caramel nut, or whatever pod we tried. So yeah, that is my take on this. I'm so glad I got to share these pods with y'all today, and I'm so excited to get into the original line next week. In the meantime, I'd love for you guys to share your comments about what flavors and recipes you've really been liking with these pods. Have you tried them yet? Are you excited to try them because, you know, of this review, and maybe you're thinking you might like a pod when you actually thought maybe you didn't like it in the beginning before this video? So yeah, I will see you guys to try the original line next week. Bye guys.